So, you're thinking about setting up a business in the UAE. Awesome choice. It's a huge hub for growth. But, a ton of founders make some pretty big mistakes on the very first step. They get focused on all the wrong things, they pick a legal structure that doesn't fit, and they end up burning through a whole lot of time and money. So in this explainer, we're going to walk you through how to avoid those traps and build a solid foundation right from day one. Let's get into it. Okay, first things first, the most crucial step, it's actually to challenge how you're thinking about this whole thing. See, most people jump straight to asking, hey, what's the cheapest way I can get set up? But honestly, that's a trap. The real question you should be asking is way more strategic, and getting that answer right will pretty much define your company's entire future here. Yeah, and this slide, it nails that mindset shift. We're talking about going from what's the cheapest setup to what structure actually fits my business model. And here's the bottom line. Your business, how it runs, who its customers are, how it makes money, that should decide your corporate structure, not the other way around. Just changing your perspective on this one thing is the key to dodging so many headaches down the road. All right, let's dive into the biggest mistake we see people make time and time again, going for the cheapest option. I get it, it feels smart, you're trying to save cash, but it almost always backfires. You end up with all these hidden costs, like crazy renewal fees you didn't know about, or you find it's almost impossible to open a bank account, or you hit these operational roadblocks that can literally stop your business in its tracks. That cheap license can end up being the most expensive decision you make. So how do you sidestep that trap? It's actually pretty simple. You have to start with your business. Forget about free zones, forget about mainland options for a second. Before you look at any of that, you need to know in detail how your company is going to work. Your business reality is the only blueprint that matters for making the right call.
This checklist right here, this is where the rubber meets the road. Let me give you a few examples to make this real. Say you're a consultant and your clients are all in Europe. Well, you're going to need a setup that makes international invoicing a breeze, one that European banks recognize. Or maybe you're selling software globally with subscriptions. You need a license that specifically covers that e-commerce and digital services piece. Or what if you're trading actual physical goods? Then your choice will depend on being close to ports and logistics. See, each answer points to a totally different kind of company structure.
Okay, so once you've got that crystal clear picture of your business, then you can start looking at the three main paths you can take in the UAE. You've got mainland, free zone, and offshore. Each one is built for a different purpose, and knowing the difference is absolutely critical. This table does a great job of breaking it down. So, a mainland company, that's your ticket to the entire local UAE market. Perfect if you want to work with local businesses or bid on government contracts. A free zone is your go-to for international business, and you get 100% foreign ownership. And then you've got offshore, which is a whole different animal. It's mostly for things like holding assets or protecting your IP, but you can't trade inside the UAE with it. That ideal four column is really your best starting point. All right, let's zoom in on free zones for a minute because they're super popular. But here's a word of warning. They are not all the same, not even close. You got to ask some tough questions. Does the license cover exactly what I do? And this one is huge. Is this zone respected by banks? A cheap license from a place with a bad reputation will make getting a bank account a nightmare. And don't forget to think about the long-term stuff like audits and how many visas you can get for your team. Okay, now for the big three, the things that honestly cause the most headaches for founders. The true cost of setting up, the challenge of opening a bank account, and the reality of ongoing compliance. Getting these three right is everything. When it comes to costs, you really have to think in two separate buckets. On one side, you've got your one-time setup fees, but on the other side, you've got the annual costs you'll be paying every single year, profit or not. We're talking license renewals, visa maintenance, accounting, tax filing. So many people forget to budget for these recurring costs, and bam, it hits their cash flow hard in year two. Let's be real. Opening a bank account in the UAE can be tough, but it's not impossible if you're prepared. What the banks are looking for is a complete, coherent story. That means a solid business plan, real proof like client contracts, and being totally clear about who owns the company. But that fourth point, substance, that is the absolute game changer. You need a real address, a professional website, and proof that you're actually running the business from the UAE. It's all about building trust. Okay, let's talk tax. This is a big reason people come to the UAE. And this number right here is the one that gets all the attention. 0%. That's the corporate tax rate on your taxable income, up to a certain level. It's a seriously powerful reason to set up shop here.
But that's not the whole story. Once your taxable income goes above that threshold, the rate kicks in at 9%. And here's the deal. To even get that amazing tax benefit, your bookkeeping has to be perfect, absolutely spotless, from day one. It's totally non-negotiable.
And hey, don't forget about VAT. As soon as your turnover crosses a certain line, you have to register for it. That's a 5% value-added tax you'll need to charge and file for. Again, this just reinforces the point. You need to have your accounting buttoned up from the very beginning or you're asking for trouble.
Look, getting the company registered, that's just the starting line. If you want to build something that lasts, you have to think about good governance right from the beginning. And this isn't just some stuffy corporate talk. It's what's going to save you from some serious stress and costly messes later on.
Think of this slide as your cheat sheet for avoiding drama later on. Things like a clear shareholder agreement, knowing who has the power to make decisions, and controlling who can move money around. It might seem like boring admin stuff now, but these simple controls are what protect the business and your sanity. Plus, when your bank sees you're running a tight professional ship, it makes everything so much easier.
This quote right here just sums it all up perfectly. It's all about that strategic match between what your business needs and what a jurisdiction offers. The price tag, that's the last thing you should be looking at. It just can't give you the right answer.
So, to wrap this all up, I want to leave you with one final question to think about. When you're making this huge decision, ask yourself this. Are you structuring your company for yesterday's setup fee, or are you building it for tomorrow's success? Trust me, getting that answer right changes everything.